Are they going for 21 in the game?
Gerald Green to inbound. Harden trying to get free. Down to 3, down to 2. It's a 3. Good! Good! He got it! James Harden, a flamethrower! Incredible shot! Rockets by 1 with 1 second to go!
Yo, 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 welcome to King Sportscast for a nice basketball edition on this Saturday night. I got a special guest. He played basketball in my high school, and he's an avid NBA listener. Stevie Mack, how's it going, man? Welcome to the podcast.
It's going well, man. Excited to be here. Excited to talk a little basketball with you.
Hell yeah, man. Love talking basketball. It's probably one of my favorite things to talk about, and this NBA season has been no lackluster of excitement. And this Rockets game, oh my God, this shot. I mean, James Harden with that shot, I think he's not only proved a lot in that game. He's the front runner of the MVP now, but in this game, I mean, it was crazy, man. The amount of shots him and Steph were hitting. It's one of the best regular season games you could ask for, and really exciting. Steph had 35. James Harden had 44, 10 rebounds, 15 assists. I mean, the usage rate is incredible when you start adding up like the amount of points he gets. It's just insane.
Yeah, it's amazing what he was able to do last night without CP3, going up against those big Warriors. Pretty much put the whole Rockets on his back, led him to victory. That shot was awesome.
Oh, yeah. I don't think he was fouled, but, I mean, it could easily be called a foul, but, that was just incredible.
Speaking of the refs, let's talk about that Kevin Durant out-of-bounds play.
Man, I can't even get me started about the refs and how trash they are. Like, that's incredible. Like,
What is that, 17 inches a foot on the ground?
Did they go, and I think they went to replay and confirmed it.
That's ridiculous.
Confirmed it on a replay. I don't know. Like, that's,
that's something they got to fix before we get to the big playoff time.
Yeah, man. We definitely have, I think the refs they kind of lay back more in the playoffs. I don't know if they get better. They just kind of let them be a little more physical, and that's when you'll see maybe some of the players on the Rockets games get affected. But that's usually always happened with D'Antoni and his system. It's more oriented for regular season basketball. But, I mean, the way James Harden's playing right now, I mean, if he can sustain even, an 80% tick of it, he's still like the top 5 basketball player in the world, especially offensively. I mean, with his assists, you're talking like 60, 70 points that he's contributing to. I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah, the GM over there at Houston's talking about he's the best offensive player ever. How do you feel about that?
Statistically, you could add it up because of his assists. That I don't know if another player has averaged above 33 a game with that many assists, even especially in this stretch. I don't know if he's already the best player ever because you have to finish your career. Like, what if he averaged 15 a game for whatever reason for the rest of his career? Then he's not, So you still got to play 10 or 20 years. I mean, Karl Malone played for 20 years and had like 36,000, 34,000 points. Michael Jordan, like, let's not forget who the fuck Michael Jordan is.
No, yeah, I'm not buying it myself either.
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's just the classic prisoner of the moment. That's one of my favorite terms. But I mean, like, yes.
The stats are awesome, but the game's different. It's a lot more open. Can't really touch these players anymore. So I think it's a lot of, I don't want to say empty stats, but what's the word I'm looking for? They're inflated. They're inflated is what I would say.
Yeah, they have I think the shot clock only goes down to 14 as well.
More possessions,
yeah,
absolutely.
So there's more possessions. Obviously, there's a lot of high usage players nowadays that didn't happen the way, like, no one was carrying the ball down the court and shooting every time.
Much more plays were being ran, not as much one-on-one ISO ball.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So and during the regular season, it's definitely more of like a coast than it is like a grind, like it may have been in the 90s, in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of different rules that go into it, and the players obviously know what's most important, and that's to stay sustainable. I mean, you see it, the Spurs do it. So if one of the best teams ever, consistently last in the modern era is doing something, all the teams are going to copy it. They're not going to kill their dudes throughout the season, and then the Spurs take some like half players, or not like have as good of teams sometimes, but they can go farther than teams with more talent. So in that aspect, no, he's not the greatest offensive player ever. I mean, he's definitely probably the best offensive player in the league right now because of his assists. He scores as much as anyone else, and give or take, they're all like up there, but no one's getting the amount of assists he is. Maybe the only other person who scores to his uptick and gets that many assists is LeBron.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there. I don't know if I'll call him the best, greatest in the league right now. There's still a lot of great scorers: Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, even young Devin Booker starting to really show himself, although he's not up there yet. He's definitely, as far as I would say, top three though. I'll definitely give him for offensive, because those assists are pretty spectacular.
Not only spectacular, they're just like large volume. So when you get that much volume, he's just contributing to so many points. So I'm not saying I don't think he's the best scorer. Yeah. Because I don't. That's not what I think of. Like he's just the best offensive player. Like he doesn't. Other than maybe if you like the turnovers are there because he's always holding the ball, but.
Yeah, the usage is outrageous. D'Antoni doesn't really let anybody else use the ball, especially right now with CP3 out. There's really only one person dribbling the ball down the court for them, and it's James. So yeah, right now he's putting up gaudy stats. What has it been for the last 8 games? What is he averaging, like 40?
Yeah, I mean I think he had over the last 8 games. He's like one of the only 3 players to have 40 in every game.
Jordan numbers.
Yeah, and then it's insane. He's been doing things. He's going on his Kobe stretch. We never thought we'd see another Kobe stretch, and he's not Kobe stretched yet. I mean he's 2 games away. I mean if he has another 2 games, I mean no one's done that, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, what he's doing is unprecedented. I think it's a multiple result of, when you see other players do it and it's possible. Like when Kobe did the 80, or, it's like when you see players that are able to do it. I mean, it's kind of like when someone finally broke the 10-second 100, then a bunch of other people have run it. The mile broke 4 minutes, and now people are all running under 4 minutes.
Yeah,
so,
but I guess the big thing here now is that they're winning. At the beginning of the year, they weren't winning much, and right now he's putting these gaudy stats, and they are winning.
It's 10 out of 11 or 11 out of 12.
Yeah,
and he's hitting the clutch shots, which is the thing is in the big moments.
That's the stat you want, is that W in the column.
Yeah, and honestly, James Harden's been criticized for his clutch moments, and this is as clutch as a regular season moment can get, and he got in Draymond's face. I loved it. Draymond's like the evil Joker of the league, and to see him hit him in his face, get up and talk shit, and like, and one bitch, like you love to see that.
Yeah, but he still has to do it in the playoffs. We still need it in the playoffs, James Harden.
Yeah, 100%. I'm still not sold for the playoffs because this is another amazing game, but it's not like we haven't seen this potential from him in the regular season. So you just want to carry it to the postseason, and like me and Stevie were talking on and on off air. I don't know if this style is conducive in the playoffs, and we also most likely the Warriors aren't really taking this game as serious as James Harden probably did.
They're coasting is what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Year 3 of a dynasty, January, they're coasting. They're not starting to play again until early March.
So yeah, we're actively in the Warriors dynasty, and even on all sports, when you start thinking of dynasties, some of the best years in those dynasties aren't even the years they win titles. Sometimes it's the years where they like lose some in the middle, and then they gather and gain that championship pedigree. And obviously, we all see this, and we're all excited. Like, I mean, I don't think there's a single basketball fan outside of Golden State that doesn't want to see them get knocked off now. They're not the golden child anymore. They're like the evil brother. Yeah, so
even LeBron James, if you look at it historically, early January, February are his worst times of the year because he's coasting at this time. Because, I mean, it's an important time to play basketball, but it's not. The games right now aren't as important as they're going to be in March and further on during the year.
Yeah, and you definitely want to take that approach. The Spurs have done it, like we talked about earlier, is they rest their players a lot, and then they try to get momentum going into the postseason. So they're at their peak going into that first series, or going towards that type peak going into that series, because you don't want to gas yourself by game 60, and you got 20 more regular season games, and you got to coast them now because you're so exhausted. How are you're just going to revamp it back to superstar status? It's very tough. Only really LeBron is able to like completely not play and come back. I think in the league right now, I mean, you see it when Steph comes back from injury in the playoffs. He's not like his normal, like he has to shoot his shots and get through his rhythm. The Warriors also, I think in this game, people are not even addressing Draymond Green anymore. He's not an offensive threat on the half court. When they have DeMarcus Cousins in there, it's going to be a whole different ball game. Yeah, you're not going to be able to leave DeMarcus Cousins with that much room. He will literally put 40 on you.
Well, Draymond's not going to be missing these shots either when it comes to clutch time as well. I mean, he's pretty consistent when it comes to start talking about playoff time. He makes his shots.
Yeah, you noticed that even last year is in those final series, he would start making the the more they'd leave him open, the more he would make it.
He doesn't need to make many, 2-3 shots a game, and it'll change the series.
Yeah, no, if Draymond hits even a shot or two where you might think he might hit another one, I mean, that's enough space for Steph Curry to go drop 40 on you.
Exactly.
And that's how scary the Warriors are, man. And he's still you still see that defensive pressure from him. I mean, even that last play, I don't agree that was a foul. I mean, he went straight up. James Harden, I mean, he's the magician at getting free throws. I mean, the man I think he shot 27 free throws the other day. It's just absolutely incredible, the different things. He's definitely, as much as you want to, I've definitely been a big discreditor of the way he plays because it's annoying playing against those types of players who just bail out and flay out for fouls.
It's crafty, but it's annoying. I definitely agree. I mean, it's something that it's hard to hate because it's good play for basketball. Something that helps the team win, but it's like, man, just play the game. You know what I mean?
It's not like you were talking earlier, it's not aesthetic at all. When you're watching it, you're not like, oh yay, another foul. It's like in football, you don't want to watch penalties, you don't want to watch free throws. But he has a talent for it. He's the best at it. I have a stat. Since he's joined the Houston Rockets, he's 1,700 free throw shots made ahead of the second place free throw shooter made in that time. The second place guy. So the second highest dude in free throws, James Harden's 1,700 free throws ahead of him. That's absolutely incredible. I mean,
and it's also another reason why the playoffs it's a little more difficult because those same calls aren't being made and he's not getting the same buckets, not getting to the free throw line like he needs to be.
Yeah, that's always gonna be an issue, I think, going forward, and I don't know how he doesn't understand that. I mean, it's got to be tough when you're a superstar. The way you play is the way you play at times. But I think he just needs to. He can do it. He clearly has the ability. I don't know. I don't know if it's mental or he really needs those free throws. I don't think he's that. I mean, it's not like he even said it. He's like, I'm not just hitting free throws. And he's right. He's hitting some of the craziest shots we've ever seen. He's like whoever, ISO Joe. No, it's ISO James. That's who ISO God is. He is the ISO God. He's not. He has great enough handles, but his pull up there, he is the greatest pull up three ever.
Oh, still give that to Steph. I'm still giving Steph the pull up three.
Oh, well, yeah. I meant not I guess the step back, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
I'll give him the step back. The step back's still debating whether it's a travel or not, but we'll give him the step back as the greatest.
So we're saying this, not pull up. I meant, I jumped my words, step back, and we're going to assume that this conversation that it's not a travel, even though a lot of the times it is. And, yeah, whatever the case is. I mean, the man's talented, and it's exciting, see the Warriors lose, see the Yankees lose. You always want to see the Titans go down, So,
but I think at the end of the day, we'll both still would say that the Warriors are gonna probably win the championship again.
Yeah, I don't see Houston being that team. Yeah, I don't know. I want them to more than anything, but I don't see it. I still think the Warriors are too talented. I mean, I
honestly believe that Oklahoma City would give the Warriors a better run than Houston.
100%, especially if playoff Pete can come out. But Paul George, man,
he's been playing real well lately too.
Yeah, so basically, if that team can face the Warriors, that's who I like to for sure. So other than that game, that was very crazy. A lot of my friends were Snapchatting it late. It was an awesome game to watch. Another crazy thing is to see this all-star fan vote. It's been pretty funny. Derrick Rose is second amongst guards behind Stephen Curry.
And this is not 2013.
This is right now, 2019, new year, new Derrick Rose or the new old Derrick Rose. I don't know. I love Derrick Rose. I don't care. The All-Star game's a joke to begin with. So if he gets in, who cares? And then Luka Doncic is actually second in the front court in the West. So both of their stats, if you see it, I think James Harden is behind Derrick Rose, and I think he's doubling all of his statistics, which is just incredible. That's just it's funny though, because it's like everyone loves Derrick Rose, and he had a couple interviews. He's like, I don't even have social media. I don't market myself at all. He goes, true love or love trumps at all. And I don't know if that was like shaded other people in the game or not, but it was cool to see him, like, you know, he's definitely embracing this season, and it just shows like everyone really, like, Derrick Rose was like clutch Westbrook. I don't know how to describe it. Like the way how Westbrook has that energy and that go with all, like what Rose had that, but he was like a clutch. And
he had the meanest floater in the game. Prime D Rose floater is the greatest floater ever.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing that he couldn't do. He was so...
The angles were outrageous.
That was the thing, I think, because Derrick Rose was really that first point guard that, like, crammed. Like, the way Westbrook crammed, like, Westbrook's gained that because he's such a freak athlete. But Derrick Rose is much more complete of a slasher, where he can go lay up both hands. Like, he can go slow. He can do the floater, obviously one of the best floaters ever. And that... his whole complete game, his pull-up jumper is better than Russell Westbrook's. So that, like, that prime Rose, oh my God, like everyone's just envisioning him and giving him an extra 10 points a game in their minds.
It's prime Rose is pretty ridiculous, but prime Westbrook is right up there with him, though. I have to say, those triple-double seasons, they're pretty impressive.
I'm not saying that. I think Prime Westbrook is probably going to end up being better than Prime Rose because he's still there, kind of, you know, averaging all those points. And Rose didn't do it long enough before the injury. But I'm saying just like Russell Westbrook is a harder dunker now than Rose was, but I don't think he's as crafty as a finisher. Like, he's just more full bore.
Yeah, D Rose definitely had more finesse when he was doing his thing.
Yeah, he had, like, I guess a whole package where Russell Westbrook's like the freight train to get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Which I like that. I love Russell Westbrook's awesome. I mean, you can't. I'm definitely more a fan than anything.
No, me too. I'm a big Westbrook fan.
I just think his shot selection, if he could it's, you know, he has that like why not mentality and all that, but I mean, if he were to just take like 3 to 5 shots a game that he takes and to just relax, I mean those stats could get crazier. Or his shooting percentage, at least.
I think at this point, though, he's just kind of chasing triple doubles. He gets them a lot, but a lot of times you see like kind of just chasing them. You've seen a couple times. I know last year he was like going after rebounds late in the game against the Warriors when they were down by 20 points. It's like I think he's too good to do that.
Yeah, it's tough to know. His explanation on it is just, it's kind of like, you know, you respect Russell for it, but he just he doesn't care what anyone thinks. He's just doing what he's doing. Why not? You know, it's his whole like method of thinking.
Nah, yeah, I get it. It makes sense. And in 20 years, we're not gonna remember. He's just gonna have all these triple doubles, and it's gonna be impressive as hell.
No, he's gonna be like Oscar Robertson. That the only people who talk about him are gonna be the players, because they're gonna be like, "Oh, I remember Russell Westbrook, and he averaged a triple double," and then all the fans are gonna be like, "But we remember LeBron and Kawhi and the champions." Like. But yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, and Luka Doncic, man, I mean, you can't say more about how awesome he's playing. He's like, his clutchness, he's like Larry Legend coming in the fucking league. Just like,
he's got to be the greatest European since Dirk came out, by far.
Coming in, 100%. Obviously, he's still only played a season. There's been other Europeans that have played pretty well. But yeah, I mean... Yeah, for the first year, I mean, looking forward, I mean, it's looking very, very promising.
Yeah, if he's able to keep doing what he's doing now, A lot of all-star years ahead, but I don't know if it's going to be this year.
But I believe that the NBA has also overridden some of these fan votes before, so
it's
don't be surprised that even if the fan vote goes through, that they still push Harden back up.
Even right now, it's more of a 50-50 thing where the fans get 50%, the players get 25%, and I think the coaches or the general managers get 25% too for the starters. So
yeah, so it's live your Rose hype now because it's probably gonna die down, guys.
He's probably not going to be in the All-Star game, and neither will Doncic. But Doncic will be in a lot more after this year.
Yeah, and I think if someone did, Doncic might get a notable or an injured person. But the guards in the West are just too tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of good guards in the West. Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, Westbrook, Paul George.
I don't even think he's top 10 when you start going through it.
Who, Dame Lillard?
No, Rose.
Yeah, nowhere close to the top 10.
Yeah, so in that aspect, going forward...
Hold on, that makes me wonder, where you got Damian Lillard at in the West Coast?
If we're going guards, Damian Lillard was my favorite 2K player.
He's nasty.
He's so... I mean, bro, he's a nasty 2K player. Whatever that 3-point shot he made to end the series...
against Houston?
Yeah, of course. But that I feel like in the game they're just like that exact Damian Lillard is what he is in the game. Like
that's been some years now too. He's been doing it for a while now. So he's probably definitely top 5 of guards. But as you said earlier, the West, a lot of good guards in the West.
Definitely. I think he's around 5. He'd either be my top 5 or top 10, but it would be around 5 to 6. Because you have Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. Klay Thompson.
I don't know if I got Klay Thompson ahead of him.
It's just his defense. He does the defensive end.
That's true. Klay Thompson is really, really a great defender.
So I just think as a complete basketball player, that's where I put him as a guard. And then you start entering the Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard, I guess, is 5 at that moment, I guess, if you wanted to put it there.
Yeah, I think it's a toss-up between him and Klay because Damian Lillard has brought some pretty bad Trailblazers teams to the playoffs several times.
Yeah, but Klay Thompson also has put up probably the greatest shooting performances possibly in NBA history, especially in quarters.
He probably has like 3 of them.
So in that aspect, with his defensive ability, we're not rating like how he's playing this year. This year, Klay Thompson's kind of been 50-50 with his scoring. He's still a great defender. But he's came better on of late. But Damian Lillard's going to score, but he's also going to get scored on.
That is true. And we all know that Klay Thompson will give you 50 points anytime. So
for the MVP, before we end all this, it's James Harden. That game, just rounding that out. He's the front runner, and as long as he can keep some like general pace and no one else does any crazy streak like this, I think this year will be known as the streak of James Harden.
I think if the Bucks can stay close to that number 1 seed in the East, Giannis has a real good chance at that MVP shot.
Yeah, I would like to see that. That would be cool. Greek Freak, he's come a long way. It looks like he's just kind of gotten, like, he's just like, I'm going to do it now. Like, I'm going to dunk every time. I don't care. I feel like every time I turn on a highlights, it's Giannis doing that, like, just raises his arm like Mr. Fantastic and just crams it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. If he ever were to get a jump shot, he would be unstoppable.
Oh, yeah. That Bucks team is looking awesome. That we've talked about in our last podcast. They're definitely a team going forward, scary in the East.
Yeah. They finally put a bunch of shooters around him, so, how are you going to stop him if you can't double him?
Yeah, but speaking about the East and breaking off of the MVP is the Kawhi game, going back to his San Antonio. They cheered Danny Green, and as soon as they brought 6'9", small forward from San Diego State, Kawhi Leonard, boo! They dogged him. I actually kind of got into a little Facebook, I guess, talks with people and like their perception of the Kawhi thing. I thought it was kind of sad for the fans to go to the level of the organization. I think as sports viewers, we need to understand the teams, you can be fans of them, but don't think the teams have your best interest or the players' best interest involved. They're here to make money. As much as they might sell us as like fanship and stuff, I didn't really appreciate the fans stepping down to the San Antonio's level and treating him the way that the organization treated him last year. especially if he was truly dealing with an injury, which, you know, you can only know through the person, and then dealing with injuries, it's definitely like a tough subject. So I know there's a 50-50 opinion split here between usually like former athletes kind of go the, you know, their team Kawhi, where, you know, more fans or more team, you know, players should play their contracts. So I don't know what your opinion is on the Kawhi situation, but it definitely flared during the game.
Yeah, I didn't really mind the booing. The calling him a traitor was kind of much. He's not a traitor. I mean, if he doesn't want to be there, he didn't want to be there. The Spurs didn't handle it correctly at all. If the man's injured and he can't play, he can't play. He's in Toronto now. The Spurs blew him out. That was ugly what happened to Toronto. But I think at the end of the day, Toronto has a better future than the Spurs if Kawhi stays in Toronto.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we're talking about a future, the Spurs are running the offense through LaMarcus Aldridge and
DeRozan.
Yeah, so DeRozan hasn't really shown any type of a shot ability yet that would make me think I like him actually on the Spurs, because I think the Spurs offense kind of removes him from shooting more than like the ISO. He's going to have less ISO opportunity, so I think it actually brings a better side of him as a player, which I thought that in Toronto they relied too much, and Kawhi obviously is a better team player. I love that trade. I just wish the Spurs handled it better, and I didn't think that the fans, like, you know, I understand that they booed him, that it's their team, but I thought it was kind of a, you know, that he won a title there. I mean, he's still a Spur for life to an extent.
Finals MVP.
So yeah, I just think that you know, the organizations are there to make money, but I feel like the fans and the players need to more, you know, stick together more than the. I think it's funny how the fans like somehow side with these billionaire conglomerates, like they give a fuck about you. But the game itself, DeRozan, he had a triple double. I mean, he was excited to play his team, which I thought that made more sense than Kawhi being pumped up to play his old team, because it's like, he kind of, out of everyone who's kind of slided and hit, and, you know, the Spurs knew what was going on for a year. Kawhi knew what was going on, but DeRozan never thought he would leave Toronto.
Yeah, I read somewhere that Toronto told him the week before he wasn't going anywhere, and then they traded him that next week. He was pissed.
Man, you got me. Oh man.
He was even he even said he circled it on his calendar the day he came out on the schedule and everything. So, yeah, he was definitely ready for the game, and I think that was his first triple-double ever.
Yeah, I actually heard that too, and it was cool to see him kind of, you know, I hope he can take whatever energy he had and bring that into the rest of the season, because, I mean, his athleticism, he's as athletic as anyone in the league. I mean, if he can just get that many assists and contribute rebounding on a consistent basis, I mean, the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, but that West is tough, and I don't think they have any chance getting out the first round this year. Absolutely
not. I don't see that as well. So yeah, I mean, other than that, man, about the basketball. Hey guys, I really appreciate you checking us out. We like talking basketball. We're gonna have another episode pretty soon. Keep watching this regular season. I'm excited to see this postseason. I'm actually going to have an episode where I talk about, I went to the Kyrie Christmas game, which, I just, really excited. Saw an amazing game. Kyrie hit 2 dagger threes to take out the Sixers. So I'm going to go over like that experience and just the Boston sports feel in general. Went to some other games as well. So stay tuned for that episode. We appreciate Stevie for taking his time out of his day to come and talk some basketball with us. I know he's excited to come do another episode. I'm excited to talk more basketball and bring as much good info to you guys. And let's hope this season can be as exciting. I can't wait for this Western Conference playoffs. With LeBron being thrown in there, that is the dagger tournament. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, man. Appreciate you having me.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, guys, don't forget, if you're not following us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media you have, make sure to go follow us. Tell your friends about us. Tell us to listen to us. Really appreciate all the support. And till next time, peace.